Army Notes, I'm Wild Jr., and I decided to challenge myself and complete 2 Spore stages by eliminating at least one epic creature. I only chose not to do the Civilization/Modern stage because it was as simple as shooting a missile. Before anything else, let me explain the game. Spore is a game all about evolution and creation, where you get to make your own creatures and explore the seas, to land, to galaxy. To begin, I have to pick a planet, get launched at the speed of sound, and destroy all of life itself. After the landing, we awaken as a small carnivorous cell, which will be vital for a hunting expedition, so consuming the flesh was absolutely needed. After vanquishing a cell for its spikes, I figured it'd be better to prioritize my speed instead. I managed to eat enough to grow again, called for a mate, and entered the cell creator for the first time and made some modifications. I named my little cell Elacoro and resumed my hunting trip. My next goal was finding the jet part, and I was able to get it with ease. I just needed to wait a bit before evolution so I could get the cilia, which I would grab once I had the DNA. After unintentionally losing out on the early game poison, I died. Not to fear, a meteorite had one tucked away for me to quickly steal. That was when I realized I had a problem. I was saving for speed and needed 4 more DNA points, but almost everything had spikes, which poses a major issue to me, seeing as the only form of defense I had were my jaws. And as a result, I died again. That didn't stop me though, so after my 3rd death, I bounced back quickly and grew up. After collecting the last bit of DNA I wanted, I made it again and evolved with a cilia and jet for the speed that I wanted. This made me catching up with other cells much easier, and hunting became an absolute breeze. After consuming enough meat, I was able to evolve a little brain with no cutscene for some reason, and then go to land. Now to explain the creature stage, this is where the hunting gets real. I had to evolve carefully and plan how I'm going to hunt this epic, and I already had an idea. First, I need to hunt and cause mass extinction to almost all of my neighbors, then lure the epic to my nest where my friends are going to be able to help me. Before that, I need to evolve. After killing off my first species, I went back to my nest, evolved my creature to something that seemed moderately agile, aggressive, and designed to hunt. I didn't have the DNA to add the ability Strike, but at least I got a start on the evolution as well as picking a color scheme I would use for the rest of the game. After hatching from my egg, the first order of business was instantly to hunt and slaughter. I needed DNA and parts, and the only way to do that was to vanquish everything. After killing some living fruit, I evolved and gotten bigger, both mentally and physically. This meant I could get a pack from my nest whenever I felt it was time. I slaughtered more creatures, including these 2 little ones, seeing as there were no other creatures to hunt here. Got more DNA and returned back to the nest to evolve again. This time, I got the hands I wanted. Wings and extra health. After thinking for a while, I decided to upgrade spit and charge abilities not long before my kin decided to migrate to a different nest. I figured to recruit my friend that stayed behind for me, and we go on the hunt as we go over to the new nest. Trust me, these guys were slain faster than a serial killer using a crushing machine. After finishing another slaughter, I evolved again with a bigger brain and bigger body, meaning that the next stage of the creature stage had begun. I flew about for a while and then finally managed to find the new nest with the rest of my pals. At this point in time, I had collected a fair bit of DNA, meaning it was time to evolve again to compensate. I chose a balance with my DNA and went for equal stats all rounds instead of focusing on just buffing my attack power. I also wanted to change the appearance of the legs and arms, but the arms just didn't fit like I wanted them to, so I just chose against them. The legs I kept, however, because honestly, I like the way they sat with my creation. After finalizing, I resumed my journey to eliminate every creature to advance where I would go for the epic. I befriended another creature and decided to avoid the creature war I saw break out and went for these lonely species instead. After a feast, I decided to hunt these weak creatures, and then after making them go extinct, I knew it was almost time for the grand hunt. A meteor shower kind of got in the way of this thrilling hunt as well as these guys who tried to hunt me, but they were no threat for my fast-acting predators. After taking away their days, I grew bigger again with a bigger brain, making this process a lot more tougher. This did mean, however, that it was time for me to start my hunt. I saw these wobble-dee-wobbles after my evolution and causing another extinction, and remember that the higher tier creature you hunt or befriend, the better the parts you collect. So I hunted every last one of them and left nothing alive. Anyway, I returned to my kind and went right for the upgrades, changing my jaws, ears, hands, feet, spit, and wings. I was going to upgrade my health later, seeing as if I did now, there would be no way for me to get the things that I actually wanted. My friends migrated again, and I was left to hunt myself with my new friends, which I named Armella, Corey, and Cell. We were a pretty unstoppable force to almost all the creatures, seeing as they stood no chance against our ongoing onslaught. A spaceship spawned after a hunt, and it was the ink scavenger that I had made in my free time, seeing as I got bored and wanted a fun thing to make. I reunited with my kin and waited for the spaceship to leave us alone for the next step, so I resumed hunting while the ship invaded for a while. After it left, that was when the fun began, searching for the epic creature. Before that, I finished collecting the DNA needed for the full evolution, meaning I got the biggest brain and the toughest body. Once I hunted some more creatures that thought they could fight us, I got back to my epic hunt. Not long after, I was able to find him. I started our hunt by getting his attention with my spit, and my teammates were bold, yet Corey was the first one who went down, followed by Armella. Cell was smart, however, and kept running with me, so we both just kept on spitting. After Cell ended up dying, I had the issue with the epic getting stuck as I tried to lure it to my nest, seeing as it had the IQ of a hatchling. After I got him unstuck, I lured him right to where I wanted him to go, the genius idea forming in my brain. I saved after finally arriving here and decided to commit unalive by walking right into his jaws. Didn't expect the game to actually crash on the first try. Yep, the game died when I died. Second try of doing this was much better. It crashed again. God damn it, am I really not able to kill this epic? I then had the better idea to just wait out the death animation, and it worked. I had a whole team to help me kill off this epic, just as I had planned it to. His health was taken down bit by bit, him being stuck in the middle of his animations, so fighting him was a pretty easy challenge in the early run. All I ultimately had to do was just keep distance, keep shooting my spit projectiles, watch as my friend lays an egg as this giant threat is hunting me, and just keep watching his movements. When the beast finally grew a bit of a brain, I moved back to a safer spot to keep shooting. And this happened. He got stuck. Then the next issue rose. I have hunger to worry about now. I was limited on time, so I had to rely on Blake to help me, and after some more attempts of luring him to me, I finally got him inspired to fight, seeing as everybody else wouldn't. After finally having the guts to charge in and finish the fight, the Goliath went down, and the hunt was over. And there we go. I went through the mating procedure, upgraded with the over 400 DNA that I had, changed the arms to a better look, and went with a full body change. While I was reuniting my pack, I realized that my nest was actually near water. This will be massively helpful for the upcoming stages. I collected some more DNA so I could get the final upgrades I wanted, and then I finally progressed to the tribal stage. The tribal stage is where your creature discovers fire, sentience, and discovers fire, sentience, and manages to grow more human-like with homes, proper rituals, like actual tribes. The DNA you've collected now is no longer relevant, seeing as there is no more evolution from here on out. But there is still collecting food for your tribe, so you can build things, make more tribe members, and more. Also, the goal here is still the same. I cannot proceed until I eliminate the epic walking the lands. And I was intimidated to see that it was the creature of hate that I made during my hard mode run. Sorry to say that the video will not be released because the video was actually corrupted. Before hunting it, I had to collect food and upgrade my gear in the tribal planner, and I managed to make my tribe buff and ready to roll. That was when the first tribe service and I grew kind of worried knowing what those creatures are. My usual plan was to hunt one creature from meat, have one tribe member fish the entire game, and have one tribe member at the village to avoid others invading, as well as wild creatures. I also decided to befriend some other creatures for eggs, which will supply us with two benefits: food and protection from invading villages. After having my team of 4 prepped and ready to hunt, along with having my 3 domesticated species back at home, I went right into the fray, going right for the vanquish. I failed the first try, and they thought it'd be funny to send their surviving members to hunt us back at our home. Too bad they didn't really stand a chance. After a quick recovery, I sent my team back to the pink village and finished off the job, eliminating every member, including the little babies, so they didn't have a chance to recover, and destroyed their huts, moving me to the next step in this stage. Now 3 more truds have surfaced, and each of them don't really like me as much. First thing I did was get myself some fishing spears for better food production, and got myself the new members before setting eyes on the Cyan village hunting the epic I was going to slay next. I decided to face them off first, seeing as it'd get my goal done so much sooner rather than later. Hunting them was a breeze, seeing as so many of them had fallen as a result of the epic, so I went right for the remaining members as well as the huts. It was a complete joke, and we won in nearly no time at all thanks to the firebombs I got through evolution. After finishing off the hut and claiming my prize, I thought it was time to fight the epic before the next village, seeing as everyone was so close. However, the epic AI seems to be breaking a lot for some reason, seeing as the first one kept getting stuck, the second one here kept spitting. Yeah. The epic itself was a complete cakewalk, and I questioned myself if this should even count. A win is a win regardless though, so after killing it for about 3 minutes, it finally fell down dead, and we took every ounce of food it could offer us. Let's just say the food we were supplied with was more than enough to carry us for the rest of the whole game. After vanquishing one village after another with the same plan of leaving one member fishing and one member getting eggs from our pets, and the rest was vanquishing the village I was targeting, the travel stage was over fairly quickly. Then, after designing my military base, it was time for the civilization stage, where all that mattered now was us being a mastermind and conquering the world through any means we can, depending on how we did the tribal stage. In my case, it was through military means, going on wars and all that. First, I got some spice to build up my money production as much as possible, then came up with an alliance strategy. Why fight and blow up everything when we can befriend and ally with everyone until our world unites eternally? So, I waited for each of the cities to rise, then conquered 3 cities in my home nation, despite the, random epic, which I knew I wouldn't need to kill, even though I am supposed to vanquish it. As I said before though, killing something is easy when you can just conquer enough cities to buy a gadget bomb, aka a nuke. So I didn't feel like it was needed necessarily. Also, spending money was another threat to deal with, but was a bit of a cakewalk if I was being somewhat stingy, in which I'm glad I was. After attaining flight, the final thing to do was defeat the Forest Nation, which I had no choice but to declare war on to keep an alliance with the Crimson Nation. And once that was all said and done, I had reformed my alliances with some saved cash, then I went and united the world, created my spaceship, and took to the stars, ending this challenge. And that was my first challenge on Spore. If you did indeed enjoy this and do in fact want to see more, consider subscribing and joining the Discord server for conversations and updates regarding what's happening. It goes to the channel's development and you can always change your mind later. For now, I draw this video to a close. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen.